I wanted Kai Kara-France. He signed the contract, I signed the contract, so it's a done deal.
Iraqi-born Londoner Amir Albazi has quickly moved up the UFC flyweight rankings in only 4 promotional fights. But to break into the top 5, he'll have to take out one of the division's top dogs in Kai Kara-France, who's itching to bounce back into winning ways. Whether someone cares about it or not, Kara-France versus Albazi is a mouthwatering contest between 2 high-octane 125-pound fighters, and we are truly expecting fireworks in this one. So, without further ado, let's take a closer look at the 2 men involved in the UFC Vegas 74 main event. On paper, Kai Kara-France versus Amir Albazi may look like your typical striker versus grappler fight, but it's way more intriguing than that. Kai is 24-10 as a professional mixed martial artist, whereas Albazi has a slightly more appealing record with 16 wins and 1 loss. Albazi currently sits at the number 8 spot in the flyweight rankings, and a win over Kai would certainly get him his ticket to the top 5, but it's easier said than done. Kai is one of the toughest fighters on the planet, and he always puts up a great fight, especially against fighters with a background in wrestling, such as Albazi. Prior to his loss to Brandon Moreno, Kai pulled off a major upset by scoring a comfortable victory against Askar Askarov, who was regarded as one of the best wrestlers in the division. So we have good reason to believe that Albazi will pay a hefty price if he underestimates the Kiwi. Who has the edge in striking? Although Kai started his career as a BJJ fighter, he's gradually molded himself into a very capable striker, especially after City Kickboxing head coach Eugene Behrman took him under his wing. Kai was always gifted with incredible speed and power in his punches, but his footwork and feints have elevated his overall game a great deal. Feints in particular are a big part of Kai's game, and he uses them to either put his opponent's guard out of place or draw them in to land his big counterpunches. Kai's volume is also commendable, as he lands close to 5 significant strikes per minute on average. Kai's kicking game is also very refined, which is a given since he trains with kickboxing specialists on a daily basis. Defensively, he's very sound, as he keeps his distance and moves very well inside the octagon. On top of that, he's tough as a $2 steak, so he can take a punch. Amir Albazi is predominantly a grappler, but don't sleep on his striking, especially when he's coming off a brutal uppercut KO in his most recent fight against Alessandro Costa in December last year. While Albazi isn't technically the best striker out there, he's still very good at what he does. For a start, Albazi does a great job of bouncing around the octagon and using his quick 1-2 to test his adversaries. He utilizes his jab to measure distance, and he often follows his jab up with an uppercut or an overhand. In comparison to Kara-France, Albazi is definitely slower, but he's still very capable of knocking anyone out in the division. His power on the feet is his ultimate equalizer. That being said, Kai will still have the edge in striking. Who has the edge in grappling? Grappling is ultimately going to be the deciding factor in this fight. Albazi's game plan is simple. He'll come out all guns blazing, take a shot or 2 on the feet, and then either level change or go for a double leg, or initiate the clinch and use trips and foot sweeps. Albazi's top control and submission game are exceptional. Once he secures top control, he's a hard man to deal with, since he lands vicious ground and pound before looking for submissions. Luckily, Albazi isn't a relentless wrestler like Mohamed Mokaev per se. He's very calculated in his approach and relies heavily on his impeccable shot timing to take the fight to the mat. In that sense, he's quite unpredictable because you can never know his next move. He can duck under a punch and secure a double leg takedown within a blink of an eye. Kai comes from a part of the world where wrestling isn't as popular, but his basics are still strong enough to give any grappling specialist in his division a run for their money. While the New Zealander hasn't initiated a lot of grappling exchanges in his UFC career, he has a pretty quick level change double, which he can use to surprise Albazi. Defensively, Kai is a solid 8 out of 10, since he stops 87% of takedowns. But even when he gets taken down, his scrambling abilities more than make up for his shortcomings. While taking Kai down will be a tough task for Albazi, keeping him pinned to the mat will be a tougher ask. But still, Albazi has the edge. Kai is Albazi's first real test, and we think he won't be able to pass it. The New Zealander is way more experienced, a lot better in the striking exchanges, and has good enough defensive wrestling to stuff his opponent's takedown attempts and keep the fight standing. Moreover, it's a 5-round fight, so it'll be interesting to see how Albazi's cardio and endurance hold up. All in all, we think Kai Kara-France will either secure a decision win or earn a late stoppage. Who do you guys think will secure the victory in the UFC Vegas 74 main event between Kai Kara-France and Amir Albazi?